Shalom. Welcome back. First and foremost, I want to give all glory, praises, and honors to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and salutations to you. I can push in this word in sincerity and truth. Back with another spiritual headline. And this is dealing with from the New York Post. And it's an article dealing with, that CV19. It says Morgan Stanley to block unjabbed staff and clients from NY offices. So it's still coming, and we've been blowing that horn, blowing that trumpet that this thing is an agenda, and the new normal involves you complying, regardless of what your rights or what you choose. Right? You already heard the story. The brother went into about I believe it's the president in the Philippines, one of the high officials who said citizens will be jailed if they didn't get it. So, those are the times we're coming into. And here in the States, this is what they're rolling out. Let's get into this. It says Morgan Stanley will bar employees and clients who have not been fully jabbed against CV from entering the bank's New York offices, according to an internal memo. Starting July 12th, all employees, contingent workforce, clients, visitors will be required to attest to being fully jabbed to access Morgan Stanley buildings in New York City and Westchester. Chief Human Resource Officer Mandel Crawley said in the memo, which was obtained by the Financial Times, right? So they put this out for these certain offices that you have to have it to even be there, regardless if you work there, if you're a client, if you're visiting, it doesn't matter. So that's going to lead more to these digital passports and passes. And this is all on the agenda, man. All right. And Morgan Stanley is a big name. So to have them do it, you're going to have other companies follow suit, right? It says after July 12th, those who don't attest to being jabbed will lose building access. The memo said those who are not fully will continue to work from home, right? But as you keep reading, you see that and say, oh, if you don't get it, you just work from home. But guess what it's going to say? I'm waiting till I get to it. The overwhelming majority of the staff already reported getting the jabs. The memo noted, according to the FT, the policy will let bank remove some CV restrictions in the office, such as requiring masks, social distancing, and the bank said. The FT said Morgan Stanley had already rolled out jab-only spaces across some divisions, right? So this thing is creating a two-tier society and more division within the society, all right? And eventually this thing is going to boil over. You're going to have outbursts, false flags of people, quote unquote, anti, the word I'm about to say, anti-jabbers. They're going to be depicted as the basically the scum of society. And that's what's coming next. The bank's hotline jab requirement comes as executive push for a swift and full return to the office. Chief Executive James Gorman issued a stern warning to his staff last week, telling them to come back to the office by Labor Day or face a pay cut. So you see how that works? You want to work from home, but guess what? We're about to cut your pay, which is going to incentivize you to go ahead, roll up their sleeve, and take whatever they tell you to take. All right? And that's just from this so-called variant. They got the Delta on deck, man. So, and the boosters are on deck. So just get ready to be a guinea pig. It's basically what's coming down the pike. It says, make no mistake about it, we do our work inside Morgan Stanley offices, and that's where we teach. That's where our interns learn. That's how we develop people. Gorman said, if you can go into a restaurant in New York City, you can come into the office. On Labor Day, I will be very disappointed if people haven't found their way into the office. So basically, they setting you up to get your pay cut and eventually to get your ass out of there if you don't comply. All right, and that's gonna go across the board for a lot of jobs, man. So you brothers out here, just get ready to lose, man. Get ready for family members to come against you, and just get ready for all this division. You see, because you're gonna be put into a tight situation, man. Because it's gonna be because what they're gonna tell you is like, oh, I got it and nothing happened to me. So what's wrong with you? And that's going to be basically the clapback to you saying you don't want to take this thing, man. All right. Not knowing that adverse things are happening, and a lot of things can happen months, a year down the road from getting this thing. All right. Because this thing is something that's brand new. Right. But we get a couple of scriptures and that'll be it. I'm not going to make this too long. Let's get Matthew 19 and 28. It says, and Yahushua said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, and that regeneration goes into reincarnation. He was speaking to his followers then. Guess what? Are going to be some of the same spirits following him right now. All right. It says, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, right? Judging the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Dealing with his 12 disciples. And every one that have forsaken houses or brethren or sisters or father or mothers or wife or children or lands for my name's sake. So when the rubber meets the road, you're going to have to basically bear this cross and forsake a lot of things, man. Because, like I said, what they're getting ready to paint the picture of people that don't want to take this thing or comply, get ready to be the bad guy in society, man. Get ready to be cut off, right? Because they already got these different passes, and you got to have your card and show this and that. It's only going to progress until eventually you have that MOB spoken about in the book of Revelation, that mark. It's only going to progress into that. So just get ready, like I said, like the scriptures say, your sister, fathers, mothers, wives, who are going to bend, break, and want to go with the system because it's getting too difficult, right? They talk about so many jobs available, but guess what? You won't be able to get a number of those jobs if you haven't complied to this, that CV19 jab. All right. So unless you comply, it's going to be a no-go. Just like Morgan Stanley is rolling out. All right. That's going to be across the board for a lot of industries and a lot of jobs. More jobs than people think right now. All right. It's going to come to that point, but it's slow and steady. All right. And it's going to work its way around. It says, for my name's sake shall receive 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life. But many that are first shall be last, and the last shall be first. So get ready to be last right now. We've been last. We're going to stay last until Yahweh Shai comes back and gives us salvation. That's when we should actually be first. All right. That's when we actually going to live again. All right. Let's go back to this article. It says, separately, executives at the bank issued a memo last week declaring the bank had resumed in-person meetings with clients and investors. We ripped the bandage off Morgan Stanley and took some investors to a headquarter visit last week. A Morgan Stanley executive said in the memo, everyone will have their own timeline and will do things when it feels right. But he gave a deadline. So Esau is a damn devil, man. He just talked about July 12th early in the article, but now when everybody feels right, their own timeline. So that's the devil he is, man. All right, the forked tongue snake he is. Speaks out of both sides of his mouth. Okay. But it says everyone will have their own timeline, will do things when it feels right. But I have to say that it felt good to see IRs and investors together again. Other financial giants have made similar attempts to resume normal working conditions. Goldman Sachs welcomed employees back to the office last week with live music and free food truck lunches. All right. Let me keep going. Goldman had previously required employees to disclose their jab status, but has not publicly announced any bearing of non-jab staff from the. And it's coming, man. Private equity giant Blackstone said last month that U.S. workers in certain divisions could return to office if they are. So yeah, they are already segregating it, man. All right, and these are big financial institutions, which is gonna, like I said, trickle down to smaller ones. Let's get another scripture, which is a precept to the one I just had in Luke 12:51. Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth. I tell ye nay, but rather division. From henceforth there shall be five in one house, divided, three against two, and two against three. And I know this for a fact. One of my girl's friends, who's in the world or whatever, she talked to her from time to time, and my son play with her kids. Uh, and this mom, she's against getting it for her kids or whatever. But guess what? Her husband already have taken it, and the older son wants to take it so he can do what? Participate in sports, extracurricular activities, go back to school, all that stuff, man. And it's already division just from that point right there. All right, big time division just from that right there. So when we read these scriptures, these things are real, man. All right, these things are real, and I know this on a bigger level is applying to the faith and the belief of the believers that are going to be separated, but not taking this thing and not going along with this society the way it's doing with this jab is a big moment, man. This great reset is a big test. So, like I said, with this lady as an example, and her husband, is she making ultimatums like, if you take my kids behind my back and do this, your stuff is gonna be on the doorstep, man. Right? And that's out of order because this dude, he pay the bills, he run the house, he the man of the house. So it's all crazy, man. It's all crazy. You finna see a lot of division within this country, homes, and households, man. All right, and then you're gonna see a shunned part, an outcast part of society, based on this medical this medical dystopia nightmare that E is building. But that's the point. I want to give all glory, praises, and honor to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, and shalom the next time.